Hi, and welcome to the Healer's Connection. I'm Dr. Michelle Petacola of Secrets of Life and Death and the producer of the Healer's Connection, which is what you're here for today. All kinds of healers. And this time we're looking at healing your money issues so you can have more success and more wealth and more solvency in the coming year. And I have two amazing guests. But before I introduce them, I want to tell you about another event that I want to encourage you to check out. And it's called the 5-day Kindness and Gratitude Giveaway Summit. And I'm one of the featured speakers. There are over 80 speakers in this event, talking from a variety of subjects, from business development to personal development to spirituality to podcasts to speaking, to about anything you could possibly imagine or want to learn about. And people are going to be giving away gifts and prizes and special offers with a value up to $60,000. And guess what? It's free. You can come free. And I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I post the link for you to sign up for this. It's next week. It's starting on Sunday, January 16th, and going through Saturday, January 22nd. I personally will be presenting on January 21st at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I'm going to be talking within a few areas about up-leveling yourself. And what are some of the things that get in the way of you up-leveling to your full potential and power? I have to admit that it's a process. It's a journey. We up-level and we get used to that. And then we need to up-level again. It's like we have to keep on breaking through our skin like a snake that gets bigger and bigger. And it's challenging each time we do that. I have some very, very special offers. One of them is, well, I'm doing a challenge for the whole week, so don't wait until the 21st to join. There is, on the Facebook page, I'm going to be doing a daily challenge on mindset, because a lot of the things that hold us back are our thoughts. They convince us that we're not good enough. So I have some mind thoughts or mindset thoughts and situations that can kind of hold you back. And I'm inviting you on this page to write down what would be your shift. How would you shift your mind? And then at the end of the day or next morning, I will post my solution to that particular challenge. And it will be in a graphic so that you can actually download it, put it on your computer, print it out, hang it on your refrigerator, and help you to start making those changes in your thoughts. What else do I have to say about this event? Oh, the other thing I'm offering is a free guide to up-leveling your business by creating and selling a high-end transformational program that's online. And this guide is amazing. I'm offering it right now for free, but this is actually going to be a workbook for a mastermind I'm going to be doing later this year. So grab it now, because it has all the steps you need to create a really powerful curriculum for creating a great transformational experience for your clients. And it comes with an opportunity to have a talk with me to make sure that you are setting your price right and that you have really got all your little ducks in a row, all for free. There's also going to be a prize for showing up every day for that challenge. That is my Magnify Your Mission program. It's an online program. It's complete. I've sold it before, but this is a free gift to you if you win this challenge. So show up every day, and I think I'm giving it away to maybe 10 people. So if you're one of those 10, you can get that for free. Okay, I want to begin our Healers Connection and introduce our first guest. She is Michelle Teague, and she has a background. So let me say that again. She is going to show you how, Michelle is going to show you how to align your purpose, vision, and values to achieve your goal. So think about that for a moment. How do you need to align your purpose, your vision, and your values? What does that even mean? Michelle has a background as a corporate and contract trainer in multiple industries. She created a Teague of your own in 2017 to help people and organizations lead to succeed, to communicate, to elevate, and build teams to fulfill dreams. I love that rhyming. A certified executive coach, she has helped leaders develop the skills they need to succeed at the next level. As a DISC certified consultant, she can help you and your team discover your preferred leadership and communication styles. Her volunteer work includes the American Cancer Society's Relay for Life, the WYCA, the Pittsburgh chapter of National Speakers Association, awesome, Scottsdale Business, and Professional Women's Club. She's the mother of 2 adult children. She lives in Mount Pleasant, Pennsylvania with her husband, Jim, and their dog, Molly. So I'm going to bring you aboard. And Michelle, welcome to the Healers Connection. So glad to have you on our show.
Thank you so much. It's my honor and pleasure to be here with you this evening.
Yeah, great. I'm looking forward to hearing some of the things that you have to share with our audience today. So I'm going to start out with your number one question, which is, you talk about values. Why is it so important? What are values, and why is that so important for us to know what our core values are, and how do they help us to succeed?
One of the reasons why I find many of my coaching clients aren't successful in the goals that they set for themselves is because those goals don't align up with their core values. So as a result, one of the first exercises I usually do with my coaching clients is to have them figure out what their core values are. And they can either do this for them personally, or if they're a business owner, they could also do it for their business. And the reason why it's so important to understand what your core values are is because your core values are what really matter most to you. This is, kind of like your moral compass for you. It's going to help you determine what's important, how to prioritize what's going on in your life, and what really matters most. It all comes down to what we value. And once we get things into alignment with those values, things start to be a lot more important for us. They start to make a whole lot more sense of why we need to focus on them.
So can you give an example, like a client story, even if the name is hidden to protect the guilty, that gives us an example of where somebody might be out of alignment and how you might be able to bring them back into alignment with their core values?
I sure can. I had one client, she was a mom, had 2 children. At the time, they were 5 years old and 8 years old. And she wanted to make sure that she provided a good income for her family. And so she ended up working, 80, 90 hours a week, bringing in as much money as she could into their household income. And as a result, she wasn't getting to spend any time with her family. And she couldn't understand why she just wasn't happy with the amount of money that she had coming in. So when we went through the exercise of identifying what her core values were, one of her top values was family. And I asked her, why are you spending so much time working all these hours when what really matters to you is spending time with your family? And she said, well, I want to make sure that we've got a nice house to live in. I want to make sure that my kids can, go to ballet and go do sports and go do all this stuff. And I said, that's fine, but you're not focusing on what is really important to you. And what's really important to you is spending time with them. And until you make some changes in your life and get to spend more time with them, the hours that you're working and the work that you're doing won't be fulfilling to you.
Mm, mm.
And once she realized that, she made a big change in her life
Awesome.
to where she cut back the hours and spent more time with her family. And all of a sudden, her life became a lot more fulfilling and a lot more meaningful for her.
Now, sometimes we forget how important that is. In this American culture, it's so much about earning money and staying ahead of the Joneses, and that we equate success with how many figures you're bringing in, that we lose track of the fact that life is more important than just that.
Yes, it
And
is.
and aren't there consequences to living a life that really is out of alignment? Do you know, can you share some of the consequences of living out of alignment?
Some of the consequences are going to be that you're not going to have the happiness and fulfillment that you are searching for. A lot of people think that the money is going to bring them the happiness and the joy. And that's not necessarily the case. The money can, I'm not saying don't go out and earn a lot of money. What I'm saying, in fact, Victoria, who's coming on after me, will tell you quite the opposite. Go out and earn as much money as you can. However, it's the time aspect and what you do with that money that can bring joy and happiness into your life. And if you're spending too much time on the front end earning that money, that's where you can be out of alignment with your values. Where, like I said, when your values are spending time with family and friends, where your values are, traveling and going on adventures and having fun, most people don't equate spending lots and lots of hours at work and burning the midnight oil into having fun and really creating a fulfilling life. So the consequences are you don't get to live the life that you really dream of and that you really envision when you focus on things that aren't around your values.
It's interesting. One of my clients, she had been talking to her children, and they said that when she died, her epitaph would be, "She worked really hard." That's a really shocking piece of feedback if that's what you get. It's there is a writer, author, or an international best-selling author, Bronnie Ware, who wrote 5 Regrets of the Dying. And the number one regret of the dying is not living a life true to yourself.
Right.
And the second regret is not having those social connections that you really, really want.
Building relationships is so important. And people crave being around other people. And whether it's a one-on-one relationship or being in a group, people crave being around other people. And when the priorities of your life don't mesh with you being around other people, and think about what's happened over the past 2 years. Many
Oh,
people have been home in front of their computers, and this is how they're interacting. They don't have that human connection. And a lot of people who work in the mental health industry are seeing an increase in cases because people aren't getting those relationships and that time with other people that they really need. And that's one of the values that a lot of people have, is spending time with others. And when you don't get that time with others, the consequences can be very damaging to your physical and mental health.
absolutely, because we are social creatures.
Yes.
We are actually wired to bond with each other. And it's really interesting to me. I noticed right around through the holidays that I got to see my niece, who it turns out I hadn't seen in 2 years. I hadn't seen her the previous year because we didn't meet. I couldn't remember because I discovered that my memory is not based on my Zoom experiences.
No.
My memories are based on face-to-face interaction.
And every time you hug somebody, every time you're holding hands with somebody, it's impressing that memory on you. Whereas the Zoom calls aren't having the same effect on our memories.
They all kind of bleed together.
Yeah.
So I want to ask another question. What is the difference between passion and purpose?
Oh, that's a great question. What I find is your passion actually leads to your purpose. When it comes to your purpose is your why. Your purpose is, why are you here? If you're talking to a business owner, a purpose of their business is basically the mission of what it is that they do. What's the service? What are the products that they provide to other people? And it's the same with us individually. Why are we here? Why are we here to do what we do?
Michelle, are you a spiritual being? I mean, that sounds very spiritual to me.
It does sound pretty spiritual and pretty deep in there. Whether you believe in God or in the universe, we're all here for a reason.
Yes.
And our purpose is what that reason is and what we're here to fulfill. So when it comes to figuring out your purpose, a lot of times your passion will lead you to it. What you're passionate about is what, once again, really matters to you. It generally fits in really well with your values. And what you're passionate about is going to lead into how you can help other people out there and why you are here.
I love it. I love it. Michelle, having heard you speak before, I would never know that you were so much in alignment with my own way of thinking. It's such a pleasure to be talking to you. So along those lines, how will setting goals, which sounds so hard and rational, help us to feel more fulfilled?
Well, like I said, when I meet with a lot of my coaching clients, one of the things we do is we figure out what their values are. Once we do that, we talk about their purpose and why they're here. I have them take a look at and figure out where they want to be. What's your vision for yourself? Where do you want to be in the future? Where do you want to be, not just a year from now, but 3 years from now, 5 years from now? What does your life look like? And once we have a really good understanding and you can really focus on that, that's when we start to set goals to get you closer to that vision. Goals aren't some scary things, and goals should not be just some random things that you set for yourself or for your business. When it comes to goals, they need to have some meaning. Otherwise, you're not going to really prioritize them and you're not going to focus on them and you're not really going to accomplish them.
That's really a good point. That is sometimes the problem with our goals is like, I want to really do this.
Well,
I want to do this.
one of the things that I found when I was working in corporate America is somebody in a location that I wasn't at in the corporate headquarters was setting the goals for me. And I didn't have input. And the goals that they set for me weren't the goals that I wanted to set for myself. And they didn't have the meaning behind them that my goals would have. And that's one of the things that when I work with business leaders, that's one of the things that we talk about is if you have a team and you're setting goals for the team, your team needs some input. You want to make sure those goals matter. And this is something that's going to be a priority. And this is going to be something that fits in with their values because their values are what matter to them. When your goals and your values are in alignment, you're going to focus on them. And when you achieve them, it's really going to be meaningful and fulfilling for you because this is something that aligns with your values.
That makes a lot of sense. So, of course, where first of all, you're talking about your own individual values, but then when you're working with a team, you need to really know what motivates people and help align with their own motivation. Otherwise, you're going to be pushing against a brick wall. Is that why you have a brick wall behind yourself?
One of the talks that I do is talks about breaking through boundaries and breaking through these kinds of walls and what's on the other side of that wall. Literally, the best life you can imagine is on the other side of that wall. You just need to break through it. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. So I'm curious, how did you get into this whole coaching business? I know that you started out in corporate. How did you end up being a coach? What kind of transformation was there some like major life shift for you that made that possible?
What happened for me was I saw the same thing happen over and over again. When I was in corporate America, what I saw was really good people getting promoted or getting hired into leadership roles. And there would be a whole lot of fanfare, there'd be a whole lot of announcements and lots of congratulations and yay. And then about 6 months later, the whispers would start to happen. Where you would have people questioning, was this the right person? Did we make the right choice? Should we have gone with someone else? Because that person in that leadership role was starting to fail. And it wasn't because they didn't want to succeed. It was because they weren't given the tools they needed to be successful. And what a lot of organizations do is they'll promote people there, and they may teach them how to fill out new reports and how to use this new computer program, but they won't teach them the skills they need to be successful as a leader. Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why I started my company, was because I wanted to help these individuals who wanted to be successful but didn't know how. And my company focuses on leaders who are put into these roles and need help developing their leadership skills. One of the areas that I found that most leaders need help in is communication.
Yes.
If you can't communicate effectively, you're not going to be able to lead effectively. People aren't going to be able to understand what it is that you need from them. You're not going to be able to get the information you need from the rest of your team. So I focus a lot on communication skills. And the third area that I focus on is team building, making sure everybody's on the same page, going in the same direction, working on the same goals. So that way you've got, your boat going down, everybody's rowing the boat in the same direction, and you're not going around and around in circles. You want to make sure everything's going smoothly and making progress and getting to where you want to go.
And do you work with them in terms of dealing with challenging employees or people that are difficult? Because there are some people that they're just obstructionist, or they have their own biographies that make them difficult. They have authority issues, and it can be really challenging. I know I've done some leaderships. I worked in leadership in a nonprofit volunteer organization, which has its own challenges. But when you take on that role, it's not like they put on the role and bing, a magic wand, and now you're a leader. You actually have to learn that in the trenches.
And you need to develop the skills, and you need to build the trust. Just because you have the title doesn't mean that you automatically get the respect and the trust of the people that you're leading. And that takes time. And you're right, you'll have difficult people that you will have to lead. Everybody's going to come across these difficult people in their life. And that's one of the topics that I work on, is communicating with these difficult people. Because what I find a lot of times is you've got very different communication styles between two different people. And they're literally, the message is literally getting lost in translation.
They're not hearing it.
And if you need to work with that person who you see as difficult, then you need to approach them from their preferred communication styles. Um,
Makes
it all
sense.
goes, it does. It all goes back to many, many years ago, we learned the golden rule. And the golden rule was, treat others the way you want to be treated. The reality is Dr. Tony Alexandra wrote a book called The Platinum Rule. And the platinum rule is treat other people the way they want to be
They
treated.
want to be treated. That's great.
And once you do that, the people aren't as difficult as
Yeah,
they
that
normally are.
makes total sense. So
Yeah.
Michelle, I know that you have a special offer, and you're welcome to say what that is so that our listeners can take advantage of your special gift to them.
Sure. If they go to my website, ateagueofyourown.com, and click on the gift tab, what they're going to find is there is a core values worksheet there that they can download, and they can determine what their core values are so that they can start making sure that their life and priorities is in alignment with those core values.
Awesome, awesome gift, and really valuable. And I have looked at values a number of times and always have a difficult time choosing from that huge long list. But hang in there and do that kind of compare contrast until you get the ones that fit with you. And then, is there a next step after that?
If they like you said, if they're having trouble narrowing things down, reach out to me. I am more than happy to get together with you. We can go through an exercise, and literally within 10-15 minutes, you'll be down to your top 5.
Michelle, that is so generous of you. Is there first of all, I want to open it up, our guests, if any of our guest people would like to ask you a question. This is an opportunity. Either go ahead and put it in the chat, or you can just unmute your mic, or you can come on the stage with us and ask her question. And if not, while she's trying to decide whether or not she wants to ask you a question, is there anything final that you would like to share with our audience today?
Just that, if you're going through life and you've hit a spot and you just feel like you're kind of floating out there in the ocean, you're not anchored, you don't have any excitement going on, you don't feel very fulfilled, go back to those core values. Take a look at those core values, make sure that they are aligned with what you're working on, make sure that they're aligned with the goals you've set for yourself, make sure they're aligned with the vision you have for yourself. That's how you're going to get fulfillment in your life.
This is really, really valuable advice. So go ahead and grab Michelle's special gift so that you can take the test, well, not the test, but the inventory to find out what your true values are. Thank you so much, Michelle. I'm going to go ahead and move to our next speaker. Our next speaker on Healers Connection is Victoria Buckman. I'm going to go ahead and unspotlight you for the moment. So our next speaker is Victoria Buckman. She has over 30 years of sales success. Don't we all want that? And loves to create sales magic. She created a successful corporate career with a Fortune 100 company, achieving 100%. Oh, Victoria, was that 100 or 1,000%?
1,000.
Oh my gosh, I thought that was a typo. 1,000% of quota month after month. You're going to have to tell me about that. Year after year for over a decade. Somebody made a lot of money off of you. Victoria is a certified dream coach. I remember dream coaches. Higher guidance, business coach, financial freedom success coach, a hypnotherapist, and intuitive. With coaching, training, and sales experience, she brings a wealth of knowledge and inspiration to those who want to learn the inside secrets to sales success. She has coached business owners internationally and throughout the United States to successfully lead and grow their teams. By connecting your heart and mind, Victoria specializes in helping you master the inner game to easily triple your sales and grow your client base. She helps people create the life they desire. All right, Victoria, I'm going to go ahead and spotlight you and bring you on. Victoria,
Thank you, Michelle.
you're welcome. And what an awesome bio you have. Really happy to have you on the show. And we're going to dive right in and say, why is sales so difficult for healers and change agents and coaches and heartfelt people?
Yes, good question. One of the things that you said earlier is a lot of people want to heal their money issues. And even the word money or has this charge around it. Well, when you hear sales, that has a charge around it too. What did we learn? We learned that, a salesperson was this, for lack of better words, car salesman or the fuller brush person, or the person that came to the door that's trying to, or these obnoxious phone calls that you get all day long, right? So just the word sales and dealing with money or asking, knowing that you have to ask for money, there's this charge around it. And you talked about up-leveling your mindset. Well, that's where the magic comes in. When you shift from an old perception, an old conditioned, programmed idea around money and sales to sales magic. Guess what sales is? Sales to me is, and Michelle touched on this a lot, sales is about creating a relationship with someone, finding out what their vision is, helping them get to that vision, whether you sell them something or not, and knowing that, I helped a fellow human on this planet become happier, move closer to what Michelle was talking about, their goal, their vision, what they want for themselves. So it's that charge that so many people have, and they don't even recognize that it's in there. But what happens is someone starts to talk to you about money or asking for money or uses the word sales, and everything inside of you just kind of like constricts and cringes. And some people recognize that, and some people don't even know that that happens to them.
And sometimes you stumble over the words, you lose your words. Yeah, I hear you. It's true. It's true. So sales is difficult because it has a charge. And where does this charge come from? Is it our culture? Is it a childhood experience? Where is that coming from?
A lot of it is programmed and conditioned from what we saw and heard in the world. If you're sitting at the table and your family's talking about, some uncle who's done really well, and, oh yeah, I don't know how he sells things to people all day, or, whatever it may be. And it's connected to money. And you said it yourself. Money is one of the most charged subjects on the planet, probably.
Maybe even more than sex.
Yes. People will talk about sex way before they'll tell you how much money they make or are not making, or
maybe even more than death.
Or yes. Yeah. So it's an energy that is very charged, and it is it's set in our belief systems, mass conscious, worldwide, and it runs your actions whether you realize it or not.
It has, I imagine, a certain amount to do with your sense of self-worth.
Absolutely.
And if you don't feel good about yourself, it's going to be a lot harder for you to attract money, because money is about that exchange of energy. And if your energy is low energy of not feeling good, then it's going to be hard for you. So I really, really like what it is that you are talking about and what you're offering. So how do you teach sales in a different way so that it doesn't seem so icky or like that used car salesman, or the classic sitcom, the encyclopedia salesman?
I was in a network. I live in California. I was in a networking group in Florida. So I'm halfway not halfway, all the way across the United States. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm in a timeshare and I'm going to go to this, high-end networking group the next day. And in the middle of the night, 3 o'clock in the morning, I get this download, which is this information that's coming into me. And I'm in a new place and I'm looking around and I'm going, okay, where is a pen? Where is a piece of paper? I got to write this down. And I get SALES, sales. Okay. I know about sales. I've been doing it all my life. And then I hear S, service. A, ask questions. L, listen. Listen. 4 ways to listen. E, evaluate, excavate, and then elevate. And then the last S, most people say sell something, sales. No, share. So it's,
yes.
So if you understand and you come from sales, it starts with service. It's all about asking questions. Michelle was talking about, you ask about their vision. What is the end result that they want to achieve? I worked for the phone company and I went into and talked to a telecom manager that needed to connect to offices. And so it would be really simple for me to just sell him some kind of line that connects the 2 offices. No, I sat there and I said, okay, I understand that you want to connect these 2 offices, but what's your vision? What is it that you really want? And he's looking at me like I'm crazy. And I said, I know what you want. You want a day off. And he looked at me and he goes, oh my God, I have so much vacation days and my wife is harping on me because I haven't taken any of them and I haven't taken her anywhere. I need to take my wife on vacation. And I said, okay, now we're getting somewhere.
Wow.
So now I'm not the person that's just going to sell him some line to connect 2 buildings. I'm going to help him achieve his vision. I'm going to help him connect the 2 buildings so that his boss is really happy with him, so that he can take his wife on vacation, so that she's happy and he gets to go on vacation.
Wow.
So you learn these questions. I teach these questions that people don't ask, to dig deeper. And then L is listen. There's 4 ways to listen. Listen to what the person is actually saying. Actually listen to them. Pay attention. Listen to what's not being said. That will tell you more than anything at all. Listen to your own language. How are you talking? Are you talking in a positive way and giving him a bigger vision? And then listen to the universe. Listen for the signs. The funny thing about salespeople is they like to talk. They like to say all this stuff, and they like to they like to hear themselves. And the person was already ready to buy something, and they talk right past it because they're not done giving their spiel.
But what I remember from some of the sales training I've had is that they have you so programmed by this formula of interaction and this dialogue and this script that you're actually listening for the key words for the other person to say. And if it isn't there, then you don't know what to do.
Right.
Instead of just listening to them and hearing what they have to say and saying, well, what do they really want here?
Well, and see, and then you're doing selective listening. You're listening for
some words,
and you aren't actually listening to what they're saying.
That's right.
That role playing in sales. Oh my God, I hated that.
Yeah, because they teach you these little techniques like, moving your body, like they move their body or mimicking their tone of voice.
Yes. Yeah. And you know what? Sales is about creating a relationship. There is a real live human on the other end that has some need, and I'm going to help them get closer to finding something that will help them fill that need, whether I sell them something or not. And if I don't have anything at all, then I get to this comes to the E part. E part is excavate. I got to dig down deep. If I don't have what they need, or I don't do what will help them the most, I'm going to give them a resource. I'm going to tell them about somebody else. I'm going to send them down the street, or I'm going to elevate them. I'm going to give them a sincere compliment and say, I don't have what you need. And I don't even know anyone who does have what you need. But you know what? You are doing a really great job here. And I just want to compliment you. And, you elevate them, right?
Yeah.
And then you share something.
Wow.
A lot of my clients, when I worked for the phone company, and it was 1,000%, I was over 1,000% of my quota, and everyone thought it was a typo. And so in a $50,000 a year job, I was making $250,000 for myself. I was making over $1 million a day for the company. But I was also the black sheep of the company, the phone company, because I did not sell the way they wanted me to. Because I didn't do the role play, and I didn't do the mirroring, and I didn't do the scripting. I went in and told people, I work for you. What do you need? How can I help you get it? And I used the SALES, asking questions, listening, coming from service. I am here to service you. What can I do in my, Michelle was talking about purpose and passion and all of that. I believe that your purpose is your genius. Everyone has their own genius, things that they are gifted at. How can I use my genius to help you get what it is that you need?
Yeah.
My genius happens to be creating relationships and connecting with people in a very short period of time. And next thing I know, they're telling me things that they would never tell anyone else. And that gives me an idea of how I can help them. It's all about relationships, right?
So you work with clients who need to learn how to sell their services. Is that who you work with mostly, or do you work with other people?
I work with women. I work with women, and some of the women come to me. They would like to have more clients and they would like to have more income, and I can teach them about sales. Or a lot of times all I do is I help them recognize their own genius. I help them step into and own their own magnificence. And when they see who they are, all of a sudden they can have a relationship with someone so easy because they know who they are. And then the sales comes, and we never even talked about sales.
Yes, that makes a lot of sense. That really does make a lot of sense. Do you ever run into people who have like emotional issues around, well, I'm sure you do, sales, not so much sales, but charging what they're worth, or feeling like, if they make too much money, then they kind of, I don't know if you deal with this, but they sabotage themselves, or all the money just flies out right away. Is that within your realm, or is it you just focus on teaching people how to sell within that sales conversation?
I don't teach people how to sell.
No, I mean, how to serve.
Yes. The women that come to me are afraid to charge what they want to charge. I had a chiropractor who had a thriving business, and she would not ever ask her. She knew that people needed a series of sessions, but after each one session, she would never ask them to come back. She couldn't ask. She was taught as a child, you don't ask for what you want, right?
Yes.
People that are having money issues, or they're afraid to ask for money, or it's not polite to ask for money, or I don't need money. I'm not going to focus on the money part. I just want to help.
I'm
people.
Spiritual, right?
Yeah. Well, guess what? Money pays. I call
money
it
gives you. Yeah, money gives you.
Money gives you freedom and choices and possibilities.
And
the more money that I have, the more money I can give away and give to other people. The other day, we had a little homeless community, and I went over there and I was talking to the woman. Her name is Melanie. She said they needed socks. When I went to Walmart, I bought 2 bags of socks and I brought them over to her.
Awesome.
So money allows you to be of service, which is to the planet and to fellow human beings. And that's, and money also lets you get a massage and,
Yes.
self-care, right? So,
Yes.
so that whole charge around what you were saying, healing money issues, sales is all tied up in that. And there's lots of different flavors of, I can't ask for it, I don't want to charge too much, or, I'm supposed to give it away because it's my gift and it comes easy, and, I can't spit it out, the number won't come out of my mouth. So you said,
Yeah, there it is.
Do you ever work with people with emotional issues around
All
money?
the time, right?
Oh, I haven't found one on the planet that didn't yet.
It reminds me of this woman I know who's a CPA, and she
Yeah.
does more psychological counseling than she does money counseling, because everybody's got an issue, especially around taxes. So it's
funny
hilarious.
because people that go into those jobs, why are we attracted to things? Because there's something in us that needs to be healed.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we go towards the things that are going to heal us.
Yes.
We're all mirrors to each other.
Beautiful.
We mirror each other. If I hear somebody, Michelle Teague was talking about difficult people, find out what's difficult about that person and go look in the mirror. Because
because they're probably your
recognize
teacher.
that you have that in you, all of a sudden they won't feel that difficult to talk to anymore.
Brilliant, yeah. Victoria, brilliant. So how do people work with you?
In a fun way.
In a fun way. So it's a lot of fun. You make sales fun.
We just have a lot of fun. And you were talking about magic wands. We have a lot of fun and magic.
Awesome.
I have several group programs. I have a sales magic group program. I have a WPPA, which is Women's Power and Prosperity Alliance. And people work with me one-on-one. So I have a cute little story. So while I was at the phone company, I made a ton of money when I was over 1,000% of my quota. And I was very good at investing and putting money away and everything. And I had $500,000 in an investment account, and my financial advisor stole it. $500,000. And the magic carpet that I was sitting on got pulled out from under me, and I toppled for about a year. And what I did was I said that I was going to learn everything I could about tracking, growing, managing, investing, everything about money, so that I could do it for myself and teach it to women. So that's a big part of what I do. And sales is a little tiny part of it. But you have to remember, if you're going to the grocery store to buy a tomato, that's a sales transaction. If you are telling your kids to brush their teeth, that is a sales conversation. If you are trying to get your little Fanny to the gym, that's another sales conversation. So sales is something everywhere, all day long, everything we do. If you're going on a job interview, guess what? You're selling yourself, right? Often we are trying to sell ourselves to ourselves, so that you believe in yourself and know that there isn't anything that I can't do, right? So it's so much more that, and I love women. Women are amazing. They're magnificent. They're powerful. They're, they are the ones that are changing the planet. So those are the ones that I like to work with.
Yeah. So you have a special offer, for a free offer for people to get from you? I don't know. Do you have something like?
I do.
Great.
Yeah.
Go ahead and explain
So
that.
if you go to, maybe you can type this in the chat, salesmagicmakeover.com.
Mm-hmm.
I will do a 30-minute call with you.
Nice.
And I will help you look at what is your vision for yourself. And I will give you 3 recommendations, and I'm a little bold. I will show you where you are getting in your own way, and I will show you how to get out of your own way.
Awesome. Awesome, Victoria. So I want to open it up for questions. We have about 10 minutes. Does our participant have any questions for Victoria? No. Any comments? Any realizations?
think
Come on, speak
Both
with
of
us.
them were really awesome speakers. I really like the whole share service. You know, we get really caught up in sales and making it icky, and it seems to take some of the prickle out of it. You know, because ultimately we want to help each other. You know, I mean, if you go into business, you're going into business mostly because you want to help other people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and you're tired of maybe the 9 to 5 and working for somebody else, and you know, letting your lifeblood drain out of you, and you really want to make a difference, because you know you're not getting any younger, and you want to live more fully. So yeah, so everybody helping each other, and I feel like that's what is really shifted, that I've noticed has shifted in the coaching industry, is that people are less, not always, because boy, I just recently got taken by somebody that was selling something, and it was disgusting what they did. But I see it changing over, and I think that women are part of that changeover.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
see,
that's
it's-
what's hard about the industry is there's so many that aren't, you know, there's some that aren't good, and they run it for those who are, you know.
Right. Well, but I mean, it's not like they're not good. They're going from an old model. And that
Right.
was what they were taught, and they don't know the new model. And the new model is not only a feminine model of community, but it's also an Aquarian model of the new age, which is about community, which is about service to other people.
Service. Yeah. Yeah. And there's a lot of people out there that don't realize that when they have if they are doing something that feels sticky around sales, they have an energy around sales and it's not comfortable for them. So what they're doing is that energy, you're picking up on their own energy, and it's making you uncomfortable. And then you don't, if you're not good at recognizing energy, you think, wow, this doesn't make me feel good. But really what you're doing is you're picking up on the energy that they're projecting. So they're not comfortable with it. So then you become not, and people don't understand that. If you're not comfortable with sales or money, when you go to talk to someone, they're going to feel it, even though they may not consciously recognize it, they're going to feel it. And as soon as something is not comfortable, we instantly either push away or say no, thank you.
Right,
Right.
absolutely. So I have
Yeah.
another question, which is also part of this whole sales equation. And that is, in this this time of COVID, in the time of all this online business, how do you attract clients? How do you get clients? I used to speak in public all the time and had a great persona. And now moving on to the internet, it's way trickier because people can click and drop out at a moment's notice. What
Absolutely. Fabulous question. The thing is, there's still some of the same skills as in person. Number one, what is your energy when you're on Zoom? What are they seeing in the background? How are you showing up? Are you putting, eye contact and connecting with people? Or are you sitting there and, doing something else while you're supposed to be paying attention? And then you want to connect with someone. I was just on a webinar, and someone said something about she had a betrayal around money. Someone betrayed her, and she's having a really hard time moving into investing some of her money. So I texted her privately on the chat, through the chat, and said, wow, I had the same experience and I've worked through that. If you would like to have a conversation with me, I would love to share with you. And I gave her my cell phone. And she came back and said, could you please call me? I said, sure, no problem. I called her the other day and we had a conversation. We had a little 5-minute conversation, and we created this rapport. She said, "Oh my God, you walked in my shoes and you overcame it. I need to talk to you. How do I set up a session with you?" She signed up for 2 sessions today. So you have to take yourself out of the community, connect with someone
With
one-on-one,
individuals.
and
Yeah,
then
beautiful.
go
Beautiful.
over as if you're going to meet with them somewhere else one-on-one.
Love it.
And then you do the one-on-one, and you really need to come from service and be there for them and help them in some way, even if it's this big, whether you get anything out of it or not.
Awesome.
So that's kind of why I
Beautiful.
call it the
Beautiful.
love-based system, because it's coming from love. If you come from love, people are attracted to you.
Michelle, did you want to make any comments about that particular question? I didn't have that question before, and I just wanted to give you that opportunity.
I am so in agreement with what Victoria is talking about. And it goes back to what your values are, because that's really where you're coming from, and that's the direction that you need your life to go in. So yeah, I'm completely in agreement with it.
Yeah.
Awesome. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this. Jeanette, you have any final questions or anything you want to say? You're good.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, you two were just what an uplifting conversation with both of you. And I just want to invite you all to come to more Healers Connections. Next one is going to be about dealing with trauma. So we're going to do a deep dive into trauma. I have 2 trauma experts who are going to talk about, because sometimes trauma is so embedded in your physiology that you actually need to work on that before you can do any of the magic that Victoria or Michelle are talking about, because it can really get in your way. So Michelle, Victoria, thank you so much for joining me. Any final comments before I close?
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Jeanette.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
A lot of what you just said, trauma, our whole perception
Mhm.
right now for a lot of people around money is a trauma response.
It's related to trauma. What a brilliant thing to point out. Yes, the little things, especially when you're young, that you're exposed to can have a huge impact. Or say you're young and then your father leaves you and now your mother has to struggle to keep you alive, how that affects the way in which you see money. Or maybe you one time spent money on yourself and your mom or your dad got really angry at you and now you feel like you can't spend any money on yourself. And so how do you reward yourself if you never allow yourself to spend money? So those are all kinds of examples that I've run across that happen to people around money.
Trauma also will affect how you prioritize things. It will affect what you value in life, and so it's a huge topic. I'm glad you're doing a deep dive on it.
Yeah, we're going to do a deep dive on the 28th, early in the morning. Michelle, you could come. It's 9 o'clock, so I think that's noon for you. But join. I have 2 experts that are coming on, and I will send you both information about the challenge that's going on next week, because this, I think you guys would just both be awesome speakers and presenters on this event, and it's really, really a juicy opportunity. And Jeanette, do you want to know about that as well? Because I think you might. Yeah. Okay, I will.
Yeah.
I'll send to all of you. My pleasure to share your wisdom and your brilliance with the people who listen in. Have a great evening and be brilliant, and bye for now.
Thank you.